Alrighty, so how you guys doing? So, finally gonna get back to the carving bowl here. I don't really touch the outside yet at this point, just because I haven't 100% made up my mind what we're gonna do on the outside of this one. But we need to get the inside smoothed out. Uh, and I don't really like. I don't know if you can see right now. There's still some striations and chisel marks and stuff, and I don't try to take them all out. I think it kind of ruins the texture. That it kind of ruins the texture of the carving marks and stuff. If you sand the inside completely out smooth, it's gonna just look like a machine made it, and I don't want people to think a machine, made these parts, especially when I've been working on these for hours every day, for days on end. Some of these carving projects I have, they take forever. Sometimes like some of my spoons, people laugh. I'll work on them for a couple hours, and I'll put them back in their chip bag and leave them there for a day, and come back, put a couple more hours in it. And someone asked me once how many hours I put into them, and I really didn't know, so I kept track. And when I told them, they said I was crazy, so I quit keeping track. It's not about the time that it takes me to make one. It's about the process of making one. Very few things that I carve or work on are because I have to work on it. It's because I want to. I picked up carving because I wanted to learn how to do it. Not because I had to, not because I needed to, but because I wanted to. A lot of my skills that I do have, like mechanics, are kind of a 50-50 split. It's always told when talking with my dad about a lot of that stuff, and I said, being handy, being mechanical, being able to build is a curse and a blessing all at the same time. The curse side of it is you don't want to necessarily pay somebody to do something you know how to do. So a lot of times your projects get put on the back burner because you can do it, you don't have the time right now. Or the blessing is that when finances are hard and you don't have a whole lot of money, you can usually make by and do it yourself. And then you don't have to pay somebody to do it. So there is a good and bad to being, fairly self-sufficient in that department. But for the most part, I really enjoy, working on vehicles and stuff. That's me and my dad don't really get a whole lot of time to talk unless we are working on a piece of farm equipment together, or if we're, working out in the fields, or, so when we're, when I'm working on my sawmill and he's working in his fields, I don't get to talk very much at all. But when a tractor breaks down, or I get something stuck or broke and need a hand, then while we're working on it, we get time to talk. So that has always been kind of a fun thing for me. Of course, I've been very fortunate that both my grandfathers and my great uncle and my dad are not the type that, you know, yell at you and curse you while you're holding the flashlight. They're pretty mild mannered in that department. And as a young man, if you asked silly, stupid questions, they would take the time and explain it. And in that department, I am very grateful to have the knowledge of, you know, a few extraordinarily talented men from their generations as they were, and it really brings out some skills and talents you just don't see anymore. It's, in a lot of ways, it's quite sad. All right, so here I do have, I'm really not good at this camera stuff, but I've got one really high set carve mark there that I don't necessarily care for in here. And there's not a whole lot of great ways to get that out of there. Probably my my best attempt to get that out is going to be, I'm going to take a squared curved riffling file, and I'm going to get that curved section in there and just go back and forth and try to break that crack up so it's not as sharp. You can use cabinet scrapers, and I got to make some more small cabinet scrapers. I just haven't yet. Actually, I might go back in here with, take my old hook knife here. I'm going to take my hook knife. I'm going to kind of use that like you would a cabinet scraper. The biggest thing with that is you do have to realize that you're kind of messing up your edge a little bit. So be quite light. Don't try to really tear into it too bad. Just because it'll just make it worse if you really just try to bear down. So real light pressure. Like I'm literally, like, let me show you, like that's all I'm doing, just enough to catch that wood fiber, because you don't want to go through and destroy all that freshly sanded and cleaned and smoothed out wood surfaces. So it's pretty awesome being able to sit out here and do stuff like this for fun in my non-existent spare time. But you know, if I start my day just taking a few minutes to work on a carving project, even if it's just, you know, 20 or 30 minutes, it still gives me a chance to, you know, I say empty my thought tank, but just, you know, empty my worries, get rid of any of that stuff. When I was still working over at Lowe's, I would get there super early in the morning, and my shift started really early in the morning, and everybody would kind of laugh because for the most part I would show up like an hour early to work. I'd sit in the parking lot just to, you know, I might read a new gun article. I might work on a carving project. I might sit there and just watch some of the YouTubers I like to watch, and whatever, you know, hunting or carving or firearms video they were working on that week. Then it was just my decompress time, and I still do that now. You know, if I got to do something that's I know is gonna work on my stress a little bit, I'll go do something that'll help bring it down. This brings my stress level down. It's calming, it's relaxing. And in the end, I most of the time have a pretty nice little gift to give somebody, or sometimes I don't give them away at all. Sometimes they just sit in the shop, and then somebody will walk by and go, "Oh, that's really awesome," and we'll talk about it for a while. So, like I said, I like making my camp spoons for me, and that's kind of a neat thing too. If you're a camper or an outdoorsman, if you make your own utensils, you know, that's something cool you can show your buddies, show your friends. It's like I said, it really is a fun a fun pastime that is in a lot of ways kind of lost favor. My granddad and I would sit on our back porch and whittle on stuff and have an absolute blast doing it, just talking about different stories and stuff. Well, I think the inside of this is pretty good and smooth for how I want it to be anyway. And if you like yours completely smoothed out so there's no carve marks on the inside at all, they make some small, like 2-inch flap discs for a Dremel. I know a lot of guys use them on their spoons to finish their spoons out. But like I said, I kind of like leaving some chisel marks in there. For one, the boiled linseed oil in and of itself doesn't necessarily, do a lot to bring out the grain structure in some species of wood. Did really good on that burl, maple burl, but so we got this done. I just sanded it to 150 grit for this first setting of linseed oil. So I can't even really explain how to tell you how much to put in there, but I can. Hey, guess what? Lid does not want to come off. That is another fun problem when your when your linseed oil starts to dry on your cap a little bit. And it is something I don't open the top very much. I just put a couple pinholes in it because I don't want this to dry. So I'm going to put, I don't know, that's probably a little bit more than a tablespoon in there. And while I'm in the shop working on projects, I'm just going to keep moving that linseed oil around, because I really do. I want that to soak in really good in there. I don't want, I want to start using the linseed oil to kind of, for one, help keep this a little bit wet while it finishes its drying process. Two, the longer I let that set on the inside here, the longer it has to absorb in to that grain. And that's another reason not to sand this too much at first. Let it sit there and just soak up through the wood fiber. And then if you want a smoother finish, go back through after this is hardened and dried, and then go through it with a stronger finish. There I leaked some on the outside, so yeah, really leaked some now. Yeah, but well, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos, and I can't wait to get this this project all done so you guys can see it. And maybe I'll leave this at Nesmic's shop for a while, so if anybody wants to see how it turned out, they can swing in and take a look at it. Or I don't know. But you guys let me know. Like I said, if there's any other type of projects you want to see me do, or if you want advice on. Hopefully I have good advice on it anyway. But y'all have a great night. Hope my videos are helping you out. And like I said, if the news out there today is really working on you and really stressing you out, shut that shit off. You don't need to watch it. It's going to be the same thing every day. It might be a different place, but it's the same thing every day. And I hate to say it, but as long as your world's fine, that's what you need to worry about first and foremost. You don't need the weight of everybody else's problems sitting on your shoulders. You know, it's just a good thing to shut that stuff off. You know, and if you're not an outdoor person and you got kids and they're not outdoor people, you know, don't turn the TV off, but turn the news off. Turn your Xbox on, get your kids out and play a game or pick up a board game. We don't do it as much as we used to, but we absolutely love to play board games. The kids will find some new ones at Pops every now and again that they want to try, or they want to try to see if I can figure it out. And usually it's a pretty good time. We're not overly competitive in that department, so like I said, do something different though. If that stuff's messing you up, you really shouldn't let it, you know. The world is only what you can see. That's what I tell people, you know, and then if you're watching all that bad crap, then you're going to think the world's a bad place, and it's really not. It's a gorgeous place, especially right now in the fall. All right, hey, I'm just rambling on now. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you in the morning. Hopefully we'll have some different footage of what the inside of this looks like tomorrow. Have a good night.